Listen closely, because what I'm about to say will stir something ancient and divine inside your spirit. There is a reason you've felt like the odd one out, a reason you've been misunderstood, pushed away, isolated, or even mocked in rooms where you only came in peace. That ache in your chest, that feeling of not belonging, it wasn't delusion, it wasn't weakness. It was a spiritual signal, heaven's frequency, marking you as the chosen one. You see, not everyone is chosen. Not everyone carries divine codes in their soul, but you've always known something was different. Even as a child, you felt things others couldn't feel. You saw what others ignored. You sensed danger when no one else noticed it. You carried burdens in silence and dreams that didn't make sense, but they wouldn't leave you alone either. You've survived betrayals that could have destroyed someone else. You've watched people you loved turn into enemies. You've seen doors close without explanation. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, still chosen. But the truth is, being chosen comes at a cost. You were marked for divine purpose. And because of that, there are forces that have studied you since birth. Forces that tried to mute you, delay you, confuse you. The enemy never attacked you because you were weak. No, he attacked you because you were destined to disrupt his agenda. And here's where the revelation becomes painful but liberating. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not every hand reaching out is meant to help. Some are sent to distract. Some are sent to sabotage. And when you are chosen, you must learn to protect certain things. Not because you are fearful, but because what God placed inside you is holy, sacred, dangerous to darkness. There are secrets, divine secrets, that must remain hidden in your heart. Secrets about your calling, about your dreams, about your strategies. These are not for public consumption, not for casual conversations, because some people don't have the spiritual maturity to handle the weight of your vision. And others, they simply want to steal it. Let me tell you something that may shake you to your core. Even Jesus didn't reveal everything. Even he moved in silence when he needed to. He spoke in parables to the crowd, but revealed truth in private to those he trusted. And you must do the same. You've been too open, too generous with your spirit, too quick to explain what God is doing in your life. And that openness, though beautiful, has been used against you. Do you remember the time you shared your excitement with someone and suddenly everything started going wrong? That wasn't coincidence. That was exposure. That was your divine plan being handled by someone who didn't have clean hands or a clean heart. You were trying to bless them with your light, and they responded with spiritual sabotage. But this moment right now is the divine intervention you've been waiting for. God is pulling back the veil, showing you that your silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. Your privacy is not secrecy. It is protection. You are not meant to explain everything. You are not required to defend your process. You are not obligated to prove yourself to people who are spiritually blind. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Because while they gossip, God is guarding your path. While they mock, angels are warring on your behalf. And while they try to figure you out, you are becoming untouchable in the spirit. There are places God is taking you that require a new level of discipline, discernment, and distance. Not everyone can go with you. Not everyone is worthy of access. And not everyone will clap when you rise. And that's okay, because the ones who truly carry divine favor are often hidden before they're revealed. You are in that hidden season now. It feels lonely. It feels frustrating. It feels like the world has forgotten you, but heaven hasn't. The silence around you is not punishment, it's preparation. Heaven is drawing a circle of fire around you, whispering, "Touch not my anointed, do my chosen no harm." There's something else you must understand, and I need you to receive this deep into your spirit. You are not crazy. You are not overly sensitive. You are not imagining things. You are spiritually awake in a world that has fallen asleep. And because of that, you must guard your oil. You must protect your fire. You must be wise about who gets to sit at your table. Not everyone who is hungry deserves your bread. Some come to eat and then curse the hands that fed them. So now, in this hour, the Spirit is calling you higher, calling you inward, calling you to be intentional about your boundaries, your silence, and your sacred space. Do not post everything. Do not share every dream. Do not announce your next move. Sometimes the greatest victories are won in secret. Sometimes the greatest revelations are received in solitude. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. Just move in obedience and let the fruit speak for itself. You are a divine mystery. You are a living prophecy. You are the echo of ancient prayers your ancestors cried out under the stars, asking heaven to send a redeemer to your bloodline. And now, here you are, walking in that assignment, living out their prayers, breaking the chains they could never break, healing wounds they carried for generations, shifting the course of your lineage by simply surviving what was meant to destroy you. So as you continue on this journey, know this: you don't owe anyone your story until the author says, now it's time. Until then, protect it, guard it, cover it in prayer. Because when God finally reveals what He's been doing in the dark, the world won't be able to deny the light that shines from your life. And that light, it will come with power, with clarity, with confirmation. But only if you protect it now. You've come too far to be careless. You've cried too many tears to be naive. You've endured too much spiritual warfare to let the enemy back in through open doors. The chosen one must walk in divine discretion, and that's where your true strength begins. They don't know what you've been through. They see your smile, your quiet strength, the way you carry yourself with grace, even when your heart is shattered. And they assume it's always been easy for you. But they don't see the nights you cried into your pillow, asking God why the weight was so heavy. They don't see the spiritual warfare you fought just to get out of bed in the morning. You, chosen one, have been in battles that don't make sense to ordinary people. Battles that weren't physical but deeply spiritual. And still, you never gave up. You've walked through fire, not once, not twice, but season after season. And the fire wasn't just around you, it was in you, burning away the illusion, purging you of attachments, refining your soul until only what was holy could remain. That's why you don't fit in with the crowd. That's why you feel strange in places others seem comfortable. You're not meant to blend in. You're not designed to settle. You were called to pierce the atmosphere, to shift rooms when you enter, to break generational patterns without even trying. And that power didn't come cheap. It came through betrayal. It came through abandonment. It came through years of being misunderstood, misused, and mistreated. But here's what your enemies never expected: that you would rise anyway. That after all the slander, the spiritual attacks, the whispering behind closed doors, you would still rise with your integrity intact and your faith unshaken. That's what scares them. Your resilience exposes their weakness. Your discernment unsettles their deception. Your light agitates their darkness. And let me be clear, your enemies aren't always strangers. Sometimes it's the ones closest to you who become the hardest to discern. Family, friends, lovers, co-workers, people who once clapped for you until you started shining brighter than they were ready for. People who once claimed to love you but couldn't handle the favor that followed you. They pretended to support you but secretly competed with you. They smiled at your blessings but secretly resented them. They prayed with you by day and prayed against you by night. But God saw it all, every dagger thrown behind your back, every lie wrapped in a fake compliment, every room where your name was slandered while you were only trying to serve in love. God saw it, and He took note. That's why this season is different. You're about to see a divine reversal, not because you sought revenge, but because you kept your hands clean. You didn't return evil for evil. You didn't retaliate. You didn't go on a smear campaign. You stayed silent, trusting the one who fights for you in ways seen and unseen. And now the tables are turning. The ones who plotted your downfall are watching you be elevated. The ones who tried to block your name are now hearing it in rooms they can't enter. The very ones who said you'd never make it are witnessing the favor that cannot be faked, bought, or explained. But hear me clearly. Do not rejoice over their downfall. That's not your posture. Your victory is not a weapon, it's a testimony. You didn't win because you were louder. You won because you were faithful. Because when the enemy came in like a flood, you didn't fold. You went deeper. You went to war in the spirit. You cried out when no one saw. You fasted in silence. You studied your word. You spoke life over your soul when everything around you screamed death. And that spiritual discipline, it built a fortress around your destiny. That's why you're still standing. Chosen one, let me tell you something else the world won't say. You don't owe anyone an apology for surviving, for thriving, for becoming who you were always meant to be. You paid the price for your peace. You bled for your wisdom. You suffered for your clarity. What you carry now is not arrogance, it's anointing. That calmness, it's not indifference, it's discernment. You've learned to observe in silence, to listen without reacting, to pray instead of proving yourself. That is the mark of someone who has been through the fire and emerged refined, not bitter. And the reason the enemy has been coming for you so relentlessly is because he knows your time has come. You are on the edge of manifestation, on the verge of a shift so powerful, so undeniable, that even your enemies will have to admit this is God. But you must remain spiritually alert. This is not the time to get comfortable. This is not the time to go back to old patterns, old people, or old places that couldn't handle the new you. Because when God elevates a person, the atmosphere around them begins to shift. And when the enemy senses that shift, he sends distractions dressed like opportunities. He sends old flames to tempt you, old friendships to lure you. He whispers through familiar voices, trying to make you question your path. But you've grown too much to go back now. You've buried too much in prayer to be casual with your calling. You've cried too long in private to waste this public breakthrough. So I need you to protect yourself. Not out of fear, but out of reverence for the assignment on your life. Because this next move is critical. This next level is sacred, and you don't have time to be explaining yourself to people who are spiritually deaf. Move in silence, but with precision. Speak only when led, not when provoked. Pray more than you post. Protect your space like it's holy ground, because it is. What God is doing in you is holy. What God is revealing through you is powerful. And what He's preparing for you is too heavy to carry with people who aren't built for the weight of your favor. Let the chatter continue. Let the doubters gossip. Let the jealous ones roll their eyes. You don't need their validation. You've already been approved by heaven. And that, my friend, is all that matters. Because when heaven approves, no man can block. No curse can stick. No lie can stop it. You are the evidence that favor outruns slander. That truth eventually outruns deception. That purity outlasts manipulation. And now your time has come. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep protecting what's sacred, because you're just getting started. There is a shift happening in the unseen realm, and I need you to feel this deep in your soul. Justice is coming. Not man-made justice, not the kind you plead for in courts or beg for in conversations, but divine justice, the kind that only heaven can release, the kind that flips the script in ways no one saw coming. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. You were not rejected. You were protected from rooms that would have drained your spirit and silenced your voice. You were kept in obscurity, not because you weren't enough, but because the world wasn't ready for the version of you God was forming in the fire. But now the silence is breaking. The pain was never pointless. God is about to use every tear, every sleepless night, every deep wound to reveal His hand upon your life publicly. Yes, publicly. The same people who doubted you will witness your restoration. The ones who left you for dead will have no choice but to watch as you walk in victory. The tables are turning, chosen one. You're about to witness divine recompense, the return of what was stolen, the restoration of what was lost, the resurrection of what they tried to bury. And no, it won't come in the way you imagined. It will come in ways that only God could orchestrate. Sudden, undeniable, unshakable. But there's something I need you to understand. This victory isn't just for you, it's through you. You're not just receiving a blessing, you're becoming a vessel of proof. Proof that God still honors the faithful. Proof that humility still carries power. Proof that you don't have to manipulate or chase clout to be seen. You only have to trust. You don't even have to defend yourself anymore. Because when God speaks, the debate ends. When He exalts you, no one can demote you. When He opens a door, not even 1,000 jealous hearts can close it. You were never forgotten. You were hidden for your protection. But now He is preparing to reveal you, not for attention, but for assignment. And in this sacred revealing, you'll notice something strange. Some of the same people who mocked you will suddenly want to reconnect. The ones who laughed at your dreams will act like they supported you all along. Don't be confused. This is not your invitation to explain. It's confirmation. God is proving what He whispered to you in private with public evidence. And you must be careful now. Not prideful, careful. Because when favor increases, so does the scrutiny. When elevation comes, so does imitation. You'll see people try to mirror your light without carrying your sacrifice. They'll try to replicate your oil without having your process. But the anointing is not transferable through envy. It only comes through fire, obedience, and crushing. That's why you had to be crushed. That's why you had to be isolated. That's why you had to lose things that felt like they would destroy you. Because oil only comes from pressure. Purpose is only purified through pain. And now that you carry this oil, you must protect it. You are rising, not just in influence, but in spiritual authority. And that means your words carry weight. Your presence shifts rooms. Your prayers stir angels. Your discernment rattles demons. You've been through too much to take this lightly now. This season will require you to walk differently. Not just with boldness, but with wisdom. Not just with celebration, but with consecration. Because God is not only releasing favor, He is establishing order. And anything that cannot align with the new version of you will fall away. Some people will walk. Some things will break. Don't panic. That's part of the purification. You prayed for clarity. He's giving it. You asked for peace. He's granting it. But clarity sometimes looks like loss. Peace sometimes requires separation. And I need to tell you something personal, something sacred. Your breakthrough was never delayed. It was being built brick by brick behind the veil. And now the veil is tearing, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. Heaven is honoring your endurance. Every time you stayed faithful when it would have been easier to quit, God wrote it down. Every time you blessed others while bleeding inside, He recorded it. Every time you forgave someone who didn't say sorry, heaven applauded you. You are not just about to walk into favor, you're about to walk into reward. This is the part no one talks about. The reward of endurance. The reward of remaining pure-hearted in a wicked world. The reward of keeping your hands clean while others threw mud. This is your harvest season. But not a harvest of things, a harvest of identity. You're about to realize who you really are. Not who people said you were, not who your trauma tried to shape you into, but who God formed you to be before you were even in your mother's womb. That identity is rising now, that voice is returning, that fire is coming back, but this time it will not consume you. It will ignite others. Because your victory isn't just personal, it's prophetic. There are people watching you, people who think it's too late for them, people who've given up hope. And when they see what God does through you, it will remind them that it's not over, that God still moves, that the anointing is still real, that obedience still bears fruit. That's why the enemy tried so hard to silence you, not because of who you were, but because of what you would awaken in others once you realized who you are. You are a trumpet in this generation. You are a fire starter. You are a kingdom disruptor. And no amount of delay, distraction, or demonic strategy can stop what heaven has stamped with eternal purpose. So walk with your head high, not with ego, but with clarity. You are walking in prophecy. You are stepping into fulfillment. Protect your peace, protect your circle, protect your secrets, because this next move will be loud, not because you speak it, but because God will. And when He does, may your posture be gratitude. Not look at me, but look at Him, because all of this was never about you being glorified. It was about God being revealed through the way you endured. You didn't just survive, you prophesied through your pain. And now your life is the proof. It wasn't random. The opposition you've faced, the tension in rooms you never disrupted, the spiritual attacks that came out of nowhere, none of it was without reason. It was all targeted, strategic, aimed specifically at the divine blueprint you carry in your soul. You've spent too much of your life asking, why me? But now your spirit is waking up to a deeper truth. It had to be you, because no one else in your bloodline could survive what you were built to overcome. The attacks were never about your personality. It wasn't about how kind, quiet, loving, or humble you were. No, it was about what was hidden in you. The part of you most people never saw, but the spirit realm did. Your anointing drew attention before you ever opened your mouth. Even as a child, darkness could smell the oil on your life. Spirits of confusion, jealousy, perversion, fear, they all recognized that your mere existence threatened their control. You didn't need to be loud to be dangerous. Your silence pierced atmospheres. Your presence disturbed things, because the light inside you began exposing darkness that others were comfortable living in, and that's why they attacked. You walked into rooms and revealed people to themselves, not through accusation, but by being authentically you. Your purity made them confront their corruption. Your consistency made them face their compromise. Your discernment threatened their deception. They hated you because they couldn't figure you out. They mocked you because they couldn't manipulate you. They left you because they couldn't control you. And when control fails, retaliation follows. That's why the betrayal hurt so deeply. You didn't just lose relationships. You lost people you would have died for, people you covered in prayer, people you supported in silence, people you confided in. And yet they became weapons formed against you. But listen to me carefully, chosen one. Weapons may form, but they shall not prosper. That's not poetry, that's prophecy. They lied on you, but truth is still standing. They plotted, but favor is still rising. They tried to bury you, but didn't know you were a seed. And what they failed to understand is that every attack was building your foundation. Every painful exit was divine protection. Every delay was a setup for deeper revelation. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. God allowed certain things to fall apart so your soul could be rebuilt. Without attachments, without idols, without distractions. He stripped you down to silence the noise, to shut the mouths of false counsel, to protect you from aligning with anything that couldn't go where you're headed. But let me go deeper. You need to understand the paradox of being chosen. The higher the calling, the lonelier the path. You were called to lead, and leaders often walk alone, not because you're unlovable, not because you're cursed, but because intimacy is expensive. Not everyone can sit at your table without poisoning the food. Not everyone can walk beside you without tripping over their envy. God has called you into a place of sanctified separation, and yes, it hurts. Isolation always does. But it's in isolation where revelation comes. It's in the wilderness where identities are confirmed and voices are tuned to heaven's frequency. Moses met God alone. Elijah heard him in the quiet cave. Jesus was affirmed in the desert. So don't curse the solitude. There are some secrets heaven can only whisper when the room is empty. And there are some breakthroughs that only come when you've been misunderstood by man, but seen by God. Chosen one, you must understand that rejection is often divine selection in disguise. You were never rejected. You were redirected. The job you lost, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped away. It all made space for something more sacred, something purer, something aligned with your soul's mission. And this mission is not light. You've been sent to break chains others ignored, to walk through doors no one else could open, to speak truth in a generation drowning in lies. That's why the warfare was so violent, because your voice is meant to heal. Your presence is meant to shift timelines. You don't just live in this world, you recalibrate it. And the enemy knows that. That's why he didn't just attack your circumstances, he attacked your mind. He tried to convince you that you were crazy, that your discernment was delusion, that your sensitivity was weakness, that your love was naive. Because if he could get you to doubt yourself, he wouldn't have to lift a finger. You would self-sabotage. But you didn't. You questioned everything except the voice of God. You doubted your strength, but never abandoned your faith. You broke down, but never gave up. And now you're rising with clarity. You're seeing who is for you and who was only for your light. You're seeing who honored your presence and who only used it. You're watching the false fall away and the real begin to find you. Because as you elevate, the frequency changes. Your soul is attracting what aligns with your anointing, not your wounds. You're no longer connecting through trauma, you're connecting through purpose. And that shift is spiritual maturity. No longer will you entertain what drains you. No longer will you explain your value to those who refuse to see it. No longer will you tolerate tables where your spirit is not fed. You're stepping into the season of discernment, the season where silence becomes your sanctuary and prayer becomes your weapon. And hear this, the people who once overlooked you will remember your name, not because you made noise, but because your light couldn't be ignored forever. You didn't force your way in, you were sent. You didn't chase platforms, you were positioned. You didn't manipulate access, heaven opened it for you. And now, the mission begins. This mission isn't about performance, it's about purity. It's not about appearance, it's about alignment. It's not about proving anything. It's about being who you truly are, a spiritual weapon wrapped in skin, a chosen vessel carrying ancient fire, a divine answer in a world of confusion. And with this understanding, you no longer need to ask why they attacked you. You now see the truth. They weren't attacking you, they were attacking what you carry. But it's too late now. You know who you are. And when a chosen one awakens, there's no turning back. Chosen one, this is the moment your soul has been quietly preparing for, not through fanfare, not through applause, but through the breaking, through the pressing, through the slow, silent unfolding that only God could orchestrate. You've cried long enough. You've questioned long enough. And now the Spirit says, it is time. You will never be the same again. Because now, you know, you finally see it, clearly, deeply, prophetically. You were never just enduring life. You were walking through a divine awakening. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every silent scream, it all had purpose. And the pain was not punishment, it was permission. Heaven was giving you access through affliction. You've been trusted with pain because you're called to carry healing. You've walked through shadows because you're destined to shine light. You've tasted rejection because you were born to carry divine favor. And favor must be protected from entitlement. You are the breaker of cycles, the first of your kind, the one they never saw coming. The answer to prayers your ancestors wept for under stars, hoping someone, anyone, would rise from the ashes of fear and become the living evidence of divine restoration. And now, here you are, still standing, still faithful, still you, but wiser, more discerning, more aware. The veil is gone. You see people for who they are now. You feel energy before a word is even spoken. You recognize the room before you even enter it. That's not paranoia. It's prophecy. The veil was necessary for your protection, but it's the unveiling that marks your activation. You're no longer the person who needs external validation. You've walked through too much fire to let shallow opinions detour your divine mission. You no longer explain yourself to the blind. You walk in silence with God and let the results speak louder than words. And the world, it won't understand you. They'll try to figure you out. They'll wonder how someone like you made it through what you did and still kept your peace. They'll wonder why your name is still rising even after they tried to bury it. They'll look for flaws, search for dirt, dissect your past, but they won't find the source. Because the oil you carry wasn't handed to you. It was extracted through nights of deep intercession. It was fought for through dark valleys where no one saw your suffering. It was born through obedience in the silence. And now, as you stand on the edge of your new beginning, hear this. Nothing will ever be the same. You are not who you were. You are not broken. You are refined. You are not behind. You are exactly on time. And all that you lost in the wilderness will return, multiplied and sanctified, but not all at once. God's hand doesn't move according to ego. It moves according to timing. Trust the process. In the coming days, you will feel things begin to shift. People will begin to exit again, some quietly, some violently. Don't chase them. Opportunities will present themselves. Not all are sent from heaven. Pray before you say yes. You will feel divine urges to stay home, to go silent, to detach from certain circles. Follow those prompts. That's the Spirit fine-tuning your spiritual GPS. Because the places you're being called to require a different version of you. Not a changed you, but a revealed you. The real you, the healed you, the undiluted, unshaken, unashamed version of you that was always buried under pain, expectations, trauma, and lies. That version is here now, and as you walk forward, rise forward. I want you to remember this. Your silence is power. Your solitude is sacred. Your secrets are not burdens, they are blueprints. You do not need to be loud to be legendary. You do not need a spotlight to carry light. You do not need approval to be appointed. You were chosen, and that will never change. Even if they don't believe you, even if they leave you, even if they mock you, mislabel you, misunderstand your soul, God's fingerprint is still on you. The angels still walk with you. The fire still surrounds you. And what's ahead is not small. It's not ordinary. It's not even logical. It's divine. It's going to feel like a dream. And yet it will be real because you earned it. Not through performance, not through pleasing others, but through surrender. So hold your head up, not in pride, but in honor of the one who carried you. Move gently, but with conviction. Love deeply, but with discernment. Speak less, but when you do, let every word come from your spirit, not your wounds. And above all, protect what is holy. Protect the peace you bled to build. Protect your purpose from distractions. Protect your oil from those who never paid the price for it. You are no longer walking. You are moving in divine flow. You are no longer surviving. You are reigning. You are no longer waiting. You are becoming. And when people ask, what changed? You'll smile, you'll pause, and you'll simply say, I remembered who I am. You are the chosen one. And now your time has come. Walk in it, rise in it, reign in it, and never, never look back. This world has yet to see the full glory of who you are becoming, and heaven is smiling.